Hello everyone, Andy here and welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to do an unboxing and a review on this upgraded U11 Pro by Ruko. It's been upgraded to a 4K camera running at 15 frames a second, and it can be switched to 2.7K at 25 frames a second. I have a better controller now with a detachable controller rocker cover. Also, the drone and the camera now are automatically matched, which makes it easier than the previous generation where you had to manually match it. And also now there's supposedly no need to calibrate the compass, reducing the calibration steps compared to the previous generation. Right, let's get on with the unboxing of this and see what it's like inside. So the actual box itself, before I open it, it's got this kind of metallic sort of sheen going on. And we've got the Ruko logo, we've got an image of the drone, it says flying fun from the very first time. Now that is a bit of a premise of what I've seen from Ruko on this drone, that the point is that this is like a beginner drone, it's something fun and simple and easy to get into. We've got a couple of logos, we've got the app here, QR code, it says ages 14 plus. We've got 4K Ultra HD camera, we've got brushless motors, FPV live video, which basically means you get a live feed on your phone, and GPS altitude hold. That's a good safety feature as well, especially for beginner drones. When I very first started with drones, you don't want to have it where like the drone is moving around up and down and all over itself. So yeah, much easier doing it that way. Right, let's get inside and have a look. Straight away we have the, like a sort of, just get it out of the box. Put the box to one side, so it becomes in a protective like bag as well as the case, so it keeps it nice and clean. You could actually keep this bag. Personally I wouldn't, but you know, you could do. So the actual bag itself actually looks and feels really nice. It's got this kind of like, I'm not really too sure exactly the actual material, but it is like a fabric feel about it, and you know, it's got a bit of resistance to it. You know, I could give that quite a good whack, so obviously if it's in somewhere in transit, it should keep it protected. But yeah, it is a really nice feeling case, I've got to admit. So you're not just buying the drone here, you're actually getting this case obviously purposeful for the drone as well. The zips are nicely covered, keeping it fairly sort of waterproof and obviously protected from debris and dirt getting into the zips. Comes with a handle as well, which actually that's quite nice. That's quite nice, that. It feels really nice as well. It doesn't feel sort of inexpensive or anything like that. I like how it pulls out and then you push it down and it'll lay nice and flat. Okay, so before I actually have a look at the drone itself, we've got a zip here with a few things in this sort of mesh. So we've got a couple of USBs that'll be used to obviously charge, I assume, the batteries for the drone. We've got a safety disclaimer manual and a user manual. We've got a Ruko after sales service. They give you a little information sheet there. We have got a screwdriver and a little what looks like screw, so I assume that is to put what is the next thing and last thing in here, which is a spare set of props. Obviously if you ever damage or break one of the props, or obviously after a while if you want to replace them with brand new ones, then they've got spares for you to do that. Let's move this all out the way. So it's obviously protected with a nice piece of foam on the top, and then we're greeted with, well, that's really cool. I've never actually seen that before, where the controller, this is really good, again, for beginners, because this is something you have to look at in a manual. But what they've actually done here is actually put all the information of what each button does on the controller. So obviously when you have a look at this before you even look at the instruction manual, it actually tells you everything here. So that's really cool. So also it looks like we've got a spare battery. That's really good. That's something it does state, that it comes with 2 batteries. So obviously make sure both are charged when you're out and about, and you'll have plenty of battery life. And it's all really nicely presented, and also what's nice is because it is molded in, this actually feels really nice. Honestly, I'm really impressed. It doesn't feel inexpensive. It actually feels quite high quality, and it is molded, so obviously everything is not moving. I'll just take that out of the way for now. Ooh, that is nice. That is actually the nicest Ruko controller I've actually seen. It does remind me and sort of pays homage, I think, to a lot of the sort of newer drones like DJI, for example. But that is really nice. This high gloss, and then it feels honestly really high quality. It's got a lovely rubberized finish here, which, oh, here we go. It says pull. Ooh, that's cool. So that is one of the features it does actually state that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So that's where you put your phone in, which actually feels really nice. I like that. If you listen to, that is a really satisfying and sort of quite high quality sort of clicking sound. I like that. But what's really cool is that they have these rubber notches in the top of the controller So when obviously you've put your phone inside of here, it protects it and it'll keep it sort of much more secure because of this like nice rubberized finish, and obviously it won't damage your phone either. But there we can actually get a good view of the controller. We've got the button there, which obviously is the long press and the short press for recording and taking photos, and we've got the gimbal dial there. And that's really cool. So the actual little joysticks are actually hidden inside of these. Yep, these are nice rubberized finishes as well. So they are nicely snuck and flush with the controller. And also this feels quite nice. It's very DJI-esque. It's got this like sort of textured finish to it. So it's not just sort of cheap plastic. It has, like, you know, they've obviously gone to the expense of beveling this edge, the gloss, we've got the rubberized areas, this textured plastic. That is really, really nice. And I like how it does fit perfectly inside of there. And then we've obviously got the drone itself. Straight out of the box though, what's quite nice is it does have a little, there we go. It's nothing fancy. I probably wouldn't think you'd need to keep that, to be honest. I think that's just for in transit, because the actual gimbal itself actually feels quite good. And obviously once it's in the case, it isn't gonna go anywhere. So personally, I don't think you're gonna need to keep that. But right, without further ado, let's move all this aside and let's have a look at these in closer detail. So the actual materials used on this do feel sort of, you know, don't really feel very expensive. They're quite inexpensive, just very simple, hard plastics. They're not rubberized or textured in any way, but obviously this isn't a high price point drone. So let's have a look. Let's fold out the arms. I can just see inside here we've got the brushless motors. So we've got the battery here, so it does come with a spare, so that is really good. So looks like I've just got to take that out. It's got like a piece of foam here to keep it protected so it doesn't connect while in transit. So I'm just gonna, there we go, click that into place. And then to release it, you've just got two little tabs either side at the back, and it also states on here that it fits up to a 30GB memory card. One thing to point out as well before purchasing this drone is that it isn't a 3-axis gimbal, so it will go up and down, but the actual gimbal itself doesn't turn to keep the footage really stable. So obviously if you're turning the drone when you're flying like this, the footage will do the same as well. But what I can see is that it's got like sort of shock absorbers. So if you can see, the actual gimbal itself isn't static, it has movement, which obviously is a good thing, because obviously when you're flying around in the air, any sudden movements, then, you know, obviously that will help in regards to the footage not being too dramatically jerky. So that's the drone, and so here we are. This is the remote control, and you know what, on first appearances this is the nicer of the Ruko drone controllers I have actually seen. I love this very sort of DJI-esque textured plastics. This is a lot nicer than the materials that are on the drone itself, and it's got this very high gloss finish here, which, as you can see, is coming across nicely on camera. The buttons feel nice. They've got a nice sort of spongy feel to them. Really nice tactile clicky on and off, and I like how the actual control arms are actually hidden and store really nicely in here, and actually they are rubberized. That's a nice finish to keep them protected and nice and firm in place. Gosh, they actually locate really, really easily. The actual finish on the controller and the actual feel of the joysticks is of, honestly, what I would say is of a more high quality drone. What's really cool, see here, these like ridges, these are again rubberized, nice finish, but when you actually put your phone inside of here, that's where your phone will sit. And that means obviously it's going to keep it protected, it's not going to damage your phone, and it should keep it more in place with that kind of very tactile, rubberized finish. So yeah, as a whole, I am very happy with the controller. I think it's very, very nice. Right, so next thing now to do is to get the drone, the controller set up outside, take it up, take some pictures, a little bit of footage, and see what this thing is both like to fly and see what the pictures are like. The reason I've pointed out picture there and not video footage is because this is something Ruko do state. It's the pictures that are its stronger point rather than the video footage. What is good is one of the things it did state is that you don't have to do any calibration or pairing with the drone. It's one of those things that you just don't want to be doing, so you'll be able to just basically turn the drone on, turn the controller on, connect to the Wi-Fi once you open the app, and basically ready to fly. Right, so we need to connect to the Wi-Fi. Ruko. Right, let's go to the app. Right, so I've already done all of these anyway. Cool, so we've actually got a live feed. I'm just going to check, yep, the camera moves up and down. Right, it says I'm waiting for GPS signal.
Attitude mode. GPS mode.
Right, so if you heard that then, press and held that little button on the right, and basically that puts it into GPS mode, as you heard. So when it goes onto the ATI mode, you don't want that, because obviously it's just going to be manual flying. So to be safer when you're outside, make sure you are connected to the GPS. Right, I'll start up the props and let's see what it's like to fly, and I'll try and get some pictures and some footage so you can actually see what it looks like raw, and I'm doing a screen record as well at the same time so you can see exactly what I see.
Fly.
Right, let's take her up and have a look. Okay, so it's always going to be really hard to compare this because I am used to a much more expensive drone with being in the DJI Mavic 2. But the live feed is good. It is shaking around quite a lot, the camera, so the actual footage isn't that stable, so I can see why they do state it isn't really intended for video use, it is more for taking pictures. All the live feed and the information is actually really good. It's just the camera is shaking around like mad. Can you see it? Go on, see if you can get closer to it.
Come up a little.
Oh, I can see you! There you go, I've gone up. Oh, that's so weird!
I'm coming up as well, I'm coming up.
That is really weird.
Let's stay there, I'm coming over to you.
That is cool. Wait a minute, I'm just going to take a picture if I can. Did that take a picture? Hope it did.
If I can let me come up a little bit, take a picture of you on the down shot.
Yeah, I'm going to look, wait a minute. What does it say? I've forgotten now. So, short press, take a photo, long press, record video. Right. So let's take a video, because I've got another drone up in the air with me at the moment. There we go, press and held the button, it is showing that I'm recording. Can you see the other drone there? Actually, that is pretty cool. I know it's a little bit jerky, but it's quite cool to actually see your other drone there in shot. That is ace. So the thing is that with this being a big beginner drone, like if a kid or someone who just wanted to get into drones for the very first time, this is a lot better than the one that I first practiced with. But for a beginner drone, this is pretty cool to get a bird's eye view of things. Right, so if you long press the button, that also stops the recording again. Just took a quick picture. Right, so I've put it in sport mode. Yeah, that's actually quite fast. Yeah, it's going off. Just bring it down a bit. Have you got it?
Yeah, perfect.
Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what might go underneath it. I'm just going to try. I think it has like a follow me or something feature. GPS follow. Right, now GPS follow is on, so if I move away... Yeah, no, it is moving. So when you do actually move around, you can let the drone follow you. So if you did want to record, or obviously not worry about where the drone is but move location, then it does actually follow you. So that is quite a cool feature.
Drone low voltage.
Okay. Yeah, there's not a lot of battery left. I'm going to do a fly around. I think it's going to go into it automatically. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is panning around, so I think, can I move its radius? I'm going to move the drone and see if it moves the radius. See if I can get it on camera. See if you can see, it's quite hard to see on the camera, but if I pan the camera, can you see it there about 11 o'clock? It is moving around in a circular motion there at the top left. So you can do like a point of view. So I've just gone back into the menu and I've tapped the fly around and that's cancelled it out. Filters, let's have a look. Whoa, okay, so there's some crazy filters. Whoa, that's weird. You can do, oh my god, you can do like a weird fisheye filter. Route planner, which basically is just where you tell where it to go on the screen. Just before the battery runs out, I'm going to do is a quick test of just how well it actually flies. I'm going to keep it in sport mode so it's in the fastest it can be. It's actually quite fast for sport mode. Okay, so on to the conclusion of the drone. As a whole, I am actually very impressed and happy with the product. I think the biggest change to this upgraded version, and I think is really, really good, and I am very impressed with, is the controller. As I've mentioned in the video, I think the materials and the texture used on it is fantastic. I love the functionality of it, and also the way that your phone actually gets held in place is nice and safe, it's secure, and it's really easy to just pop your phone in and you're ready to go. Now, I don't really have much in the way of negatives on the drone, but the only thing I'd say that lets it down, say, compared to something that's a bit more expensive, is obviously the video quality. So yes, it is 4K, and to be honest, for a beginner drone, just to get yourself into flying a drone, taking pictures and having a bit of fun, then actually I do think that the resolution and the quality of the video and the pictures were actually decent. But because it doesn't have that 3-axis gimbal that obviously a lot of drones do have, then obviously it does hinder the ability to be able to have smooth video footage. But actually I was quite surprised that the video footage was quite good. Again, the pictures were actually decent enough as well. And a massive positive about this drone and a reason to get it is just its ease of use. Its ease of setup. You don't have to do anything out of the box. You can literally power up the drone, power up the controller. It automatically configures between the two. You don't have to do anything. Once you wait for those GPS signals of those satellites to be in range, literally you are ready to go. The drone flew very nicely as well, which is a good positive. It coped with light winds. And because it has the GPS mode, again, if you're a beginner, that is a huge must in my opinion. Just because it's so much safer that if you let go of the controller, the drone basically kind of hovers in situ. Another good positive as well is that if you do lose battery, which I did do in the test, then it automatically flew back to where it took off from. The auto land feature as well, if you're not very confident in landing and you just want to get it back, maybe those first few uses, again, it landed perfectly fine. Also, with it coming with 2 batteries, I think you've probably got a good half an hour there of flying. I think it is actually pretty good, again, just to get out there for half an hour and start flying around. So hopefully if you are looking to get this drone and see what the differences are with the upgrades, then obviously I hope this video has been of use to you. Give me a thumbs up if you did find this useful. And also if you're new to the channel, please feel free to subscribe as well, because hopefully at some point in the future I will have new products to review, and also some nice cinematic videos that I will be able to produce on holidays. Thanks all again for watching. See you again soon. Bye.